Welcome to Smack Monkey. I believe this is one of those games that's like, you know, a rage porn game. You know, the kind of like Jumpman. What's it called? Not Jumpman. Jump King. Kind of those types of games. Something on your mind? Talked about animals yesterday. We were. I don't know what this game is. Dream On. Don't know what this means. Dream On is quit the game. It just I would have never guessed. Dream on. Okay, wake up. Wasta and JK. Okay. Wow! Loud! Fuck, it didn't save the audio. Jesus. Screaming. Bah. Restart. Fuck me. Fucking. Yeah, Wasta JK. Monkey brain. Don't forget. Bro. Your monkey date is waiting for you at the top. Stop lazing around and eating pizza. You're gonna be late. Get going, dude. Oh. Unlocked by reaching the summit in under 8 hours. Under 4 hours. Unlocked by Right the Frog. Reaching the summit 20 minutes. What? Cool, I'm glad that's... It's gonna be one of those games, isn't it? This is remarkably loud for what it is. I like the music, but the sound effects and monkey noises are really loud. That's better. So, what do you... So, right, so, Wazda is left, right, S makes me grump, W makes me happy, J does this, and K is jump. Was that whoa. Look, it's a huge gorilla in the background. Whoa. Fuck. Space with... jump with K or space. Okay. Oh, this really is a rage porn game. Great. This'll be fun. Single jump. Double jump. Triple jump. Okay. Wall jump by hitting space. Wall climb by hitting J just before colliding with the wall. Oh, interesting. Also very frustrating. Okay, I get it. Oof. Oof. This is gonna be one of those things. The flowers are guiding me. I can't go up a goddamn slope. Come on, bruh. No. You can double or triple jump in space, in place. Okay. That's good to know. Press J on solid ground to smack jump. Oh, that's what that is. That's how you make dainty jumps. Okay. Oh my god. Yeesh. It reminded me of a post you saw about how dogs, humans are basically ageless elves. What? Oh, humans are ageless elves, I see. Hey, Green. Have an hour? Well, it's not so bad right now, but I imagine this game's gonna become a bit of a bitch. Bruh. Please. It's probably supposed to be damn, but you read it as dick. What happened? Oof. Also, I wonder, because the reason why I fell is because I don't know the controls. So I wonder if this game truly is something you can beat in less than 20 minutes. Because it looked like you could... Ah, that's what happens. Right, that's why that was happening. Okay, I'm starting to understand the controls here. Aha! You can smack jump on vines. Oh! Holy shit! Ah! This is probably the only rage porn game you're ever going to see me play. I don't get the appeal. I'm playing this because there's a monkey. There's an extreme bias to this one. An extremely extreme bias. The gorilla. You noticed too. Whoa. It's colossal. Fuck. Oh, so close. You like getting over it in Jump King, but I don't know if you'd enjoy playing them yourself. I think they're fine as long as somebody else is playing them. I've got no interest to torture myself for fun. Shit. Ah. Nah, don't fall. Smack monkey. That was the tutorial. That cave was the tutorial. Holy shit. Trying to think of any rage games you've played in the past. Super Meat Boy? I guess so. Though, I feel as though that's more of, like, precision platforming. And if you fail, you get to start from the challenge again. Those types of rage games where it's like, you make a mistake, and your punishment is to watch your character fall. What eventually led you to, like, 40 minutes of your life down the drain, I think is way different. You do have an interest in really difficult platforming. I wouldn't class this as platforming. This is these types of games where it's deliberately set up just to slam you into the ground and laugh at you. I wouldn't class it as platforming. You're climbing this mountain. Keep it up. Caw. Toucans don't caw. Ah. Shoot, you fell down. Don't worry, champ. Just climb back up. You know, I'm kind of glad we had like an hour taken away from today's stream. It's almost like the universe said, listen, I know you're planning to play this, so I'm gonna throw you a bone. I'm going to invite a man over to measure your windows to waste your time, so you only have to stream for 2 hours today. How's that sound? And you know what? I am very grateful for that. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Good. What would be a platforming game without platforms? What are you talking about? Every game has a platform. How else are your characters supposed to stand? You're referring to Bubsy. Bob? What would a platform game be without platforms? I'm afraid I don't know that one. Is that from the 3D game? Only know a couple of quotes from that shit. Aren't these game designers wonderful? But the thing is, the one I remember the most from that game isn't even in the game, it's on the back of the box. Where it talks about how one-ups are a feature. This game has one-ups. It is from, I was going to say Frubsy. Bubsy 3D. Oh no, it's getting over it. Who's the measuring tape guy? I don't know. I wish I could... Speaking of box, did you know that Bubsy 3D won the Gold X award? What is the Gold X award and how did it win it? Bubsy, 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 Bubsy. Bubsy Bobcat. I saw there was a comic in the works for Bubsy, and it looks professional. Might have been a troll though. Hard to tell these days. A lot of a lot of people put a lot of work into a lot of people put a lot of work into their trolls sometimes. Is there really not a better way to do this? Okay, let's try this again. Too far. To me, these kind of games are very boring. There's skill. I don't think there's skill, it's just... how much patience do you have for being given a big dollop of luck pudding? The entire runtime is just a big joke to see you trip and go and start again. I don't know. I feel the same way. Again, I'm playing this because of bias. There's a monkey in it. I would never touch these types of games. Not even as like a, oh hee hee, wouldn't this be funny? I don't play that. I'm not into self-harm in any way. It's not, I don't get it. Not my bag. The Gold X from PlayStation Extreme magazine, and despite your sarcasm, it turns out it's real. What happened? I guess there must have just been a really big Bubsy fan at the magazine, of lots of influence. You don't know what's going on with Bobish, but you did see a one-off IDW comic artist that was abstracted to draw at least one official Bubsy illustration. That must have been what I saw. Because what I saw was undeniably professional and very, very clean. And it made my heart skip because I was like, is there a Bubsy comic in the works? They Bleed Pixels. I remember playing that game. It was a good little, whoops. Fucking hell. This monkey's made out of helium or something. You touch him and he just... Being used for a new Bubsy compilation. Are they going to release all of the Boombest games in a compilation? It better be worth like £10 or something. Because there's no fucking way I'd be paying full price for that shit. I might be misremembering, but... if you recall, Bubsy 3D had a insanely high resolution, but... part of it why it was so... but maybe whoever was responsible for the prize was really impressed. Maybe it was a technical thing. It's like, you know what, the game itself is pretty lame, but if you look under the hood, this engine is actually pretty powerful. Strangely enough. I can get that. They're releasing the old Boombas. Well, can't wait to see what price they ask for it. Get all of the old Boombas games for $30! Reduce that by 20 and then you've got a good price. Modern players will be able to enjoy Bubsy 3D. Bubsy comic would be genuinely interesting, especially depending on how they characterize him. They should characterize him like he was in the show. Utterly obnoxious. What could possibly go wrong? They should really just lean into it. Make him completely unlikable, irritating. But own it. Don't shy away from it. Just make him just so unlikable. I know it sounds like a bad idea, but I genuinely think that would actually help Bubsy. Because then it'll just be like an inside joke for everybody. Haha, Bubsy games are so bad, hahaha. And his characters suck too, haha. But they're on like issue 32 and he still sucks. It's... just turn him into a meme. That's the only way you're gonna save him. Just do that. Just do that. And you'll make big Boombest money. I don't think anybody knows how to make a good Bubsy game. Not yet. You never managed to complete They Bleed Pixels, you don't have the precision skill. Ooh. Made it. Just about. I think they sort of did that with Woolly Strikes Back. Pause of Fire. I watched somebody play through both of those and it was torture. And I was just watching it. And the developers who... those two games are legitimately talented. Woolly Strikes Back by the same team who did Jin Sisters Twisted Dreams, and that game was great. I think Bubsy's just really boring. I think that's why no one can make a good game with him. It's not that it's impossible, it's just... the character's just crap. So uninspired and unappealing. It's like, how are you supposed to create a world around this thing? I remember somebody came up with a redesign for Bubsy, but I still don't think it's worth it. Was the redesign by Mark? I don't know who it was from. I just remember seeing it. But it didn't, like, the redesign was fine, but it's not how he looks that's the issue, it's Bubsy. Bubsy is the issue. You would have to fundamentally change the character completely in order for it to be anywhere near something you could use it. And if you're going to do that, then why not just make a new character? I think Bubsy's just gross. He, as a character, as a personality, as a creature, as a source of influence that you could create a world around, that you can't do anything with it. It's just an uninspired, boring character, and that sucks. Because I have a feeling that you probably could do something with him, but it's too late now. Damage has been done. They had the chance when they wanted to bring him back, but then they fell on their face twice. So now they have... so now Bubsy has the reputation of sucking back in the day and sucking when he had the chance to come back. It's fucked. They fucked it. It's too far. It's done. It's done. You have no interest in Justice League characters. Wait, what's happening? Oh yeah, the DC crossover. I haven't seen anything about that. Shadow and Batman interacting. Desktop Discord UI updated and your muscular memory is out of whack. Ugh, I hope it's... not poo-poo. We've decided to make the desktop interface more simple. There's just one button that does everything. And you don't know what the button's gonna do. It's a shame because the first game gave you sort of Looney Tunes vibes. An annoyed actor, I can't get paid enough for this vibe. I think Bobsy had the chance to be something great back in the day, but they fucked it. Too late now. Reputation's been stained. It's... people like to make... I saw a comparison once that was completely, just fundamentally wrong. It's like, if Sonic the Hedgehog can make a comeback, so can Bobsy. And it's like, Sonic was never shit. Sonic came out the gate fucking phenomenal. It was a cultural icon. It took over the world. Everybody knew about him. Then as time went on, he had poopy games. But they're not even that bad. They're playable. They're just kind of whatever. And they mix and match. So not every game... it's... you know, every game's too different. And it's like, he never... bad example. Bad. Very bad. Bad example. Slaps hands. Bad example. Bad. Ugh. You finally pay attention. What's this game about? I like how it zoomed in on the letters. You smack the monkey. And then you watch it fall after you've made progress. It's Jump King, yeah. It is. It's Monkey Jump King. I was only ever planning to play this for one day. I am not gonna attempt to finish this. Though, there is one thing I do want to try and look at before the end of the day. But we'll do that later. You're not gonna get into it, but chatted Stoke the weekend about Melvin's. Yeah, no, don't get into that. Why are you still on Twitter? Yeah, G, why are you still on Twitter? I keep asking you this whenever you bring them up. Oof. You don't even think the worst Sonic games are among the worst games of all? No, they're not. The worst Sonic game I can think of, like, technologically and gameplay-wise, that's just so rusty and fucked that I would not recommend anybody pick up, is the Sonic the Hedgehog ports for the GBA. And that's it. And I say that because you could just play Sonic 1. All of the other ports that were ever made that are way better than that. And that's it. And I think that's a pretty good margin. There are some games I don't really agree with fundamentally, like Sonic Labyrinth. Like, I don't think that is a good Sonic game, but I think if you could reimagine that type of game with another character, I think it would be pretty fun. Not gonna lie, the idea of that kind of gameplay is captivating, but I don't think it suits the character. Not trying to shame... not trying to shame. I'm trying to shame. I want him to leave that website. I want him to leave that website. GW, I want you to leave that website. It's like watching a bad relationship. It's like watching this monkey fall to his death. To be fair though, I think it's not even Twitter itself, it's just bad social media spaces. leave bad social media spaces and they exist everywhere. Even BlueSky's starting to mutate. I saw some rotten fucking things a few days ago. Like some genuinely like evil thoughts. I was like, fuck me. Holy shit. It's blocked obviously, but it was still like, you can't escape it. You cannot escape it. Well, you can. No, that's a lie. You can escape it, but nobody wants to do it. Because everything is so ingrained online these days, you need to have an account. You need to have social media. Otherwise, how do you advertise your shit? Because everybody else is online. So you're stuck, you're trapped, you have no choice but to dip your fingers in the shit and pretend to like it. Technically not the worst ever game, but Sonic Rise of Lyric is so mind-numbingly plain and boring. You know what? I think that's a good shout. I completely forgot that game existed. In fact, I completely forgot Sega even tried to reboot Sonic again. That was one of the weirdest fucking choices I've ever seen in my life. I'm glad they fired, I forget his name, Aaron something. I'm glad they fired him. He was not handling Sonic Team very well. No, he wasn't only the social media guy, he got involved with development. Sonic Lost World was his direction. And he also pushed the idea to reboot Sonic again into the Boom ideas. I don't know how he managed it, but he managed to coax a lot of influence within Sega somehow. I do not know how. He must have had some dirt on somebody or something. It does have a silver lining. It's much better than the most places I go to. But I still block at least one person a week. People are shit. Nah, people are fine. It's people thinking they need to be shit to be seen. Because that's the only reinforcement they get. If we can reinforce positive encouragement, then more people will be inclined to be positive. It's because the reaction is so visceral towards negative energy that they get such a thrill from it. They don't even think about it. They want attention, and they know the best way to get attention is to, break a window. Because if they make something cool, we don't pay attention to them, so they think, oh, okay, nurturing a talent actually doesn't get me anywhere. I guess I'll break a window, because last time I did that, I got all the attention. Ugh. So it's their fault and ours. Everyone's responsible for the shitty behavior. Namek Saga Dragon Ball Z Kai is so good. I'll keep reading before I ask whereabouts you are in the Namek Saga. I've also missed a large chunk of the chat. Let me rewind. That's why you disconnected. At least BlueSky doesn't have any algorithm designed to spread propaganda. It does, but luckily the block system on BlueSky is very advanced. So if you block the source, it never trickles down, unlike other websites where you can still get the influence of a ripple effect off other accounts, which is very nice. I do like BlueSky for that. It's very clever. It's very clever. Boom series is legit hilarious. The TV show was actually very good. I hope the creators of the show move on to bigger, better things. I block one person a week. Yeah, one person a week. I don't really follow that many people. I just follow artists. And every now and then an artist will retweet something that's really cool. And then when that retweets rebounds to another person, and then they bring up something that's just like, stop. And I just, you know, just stop it. It's like people trying to start fires. People trying to start fires, and then they're going, oh, this was... I didn't do this. It's like, shut the fuck up. You fucking asshole. Stop trying to light fires. You block every single mildly annoying person you see. You guess you surf more. I don't really surf that much. I do my chores in the morning. I spend some time to myself. Whether that's studying or whatever the fuck. Doing a hobby. Then I go online a little bit before I start streaming. I post a funny. I share a video if I've uploaded it on YouTube. And maybe, in a very rare instance, like 3 times a year, I will say something online. Publicly. And that's about it. I don't really do anything. After seeing the Sonic... my voice, excuse me. After seeing the Sonic's franchise be self-deprecating for so long, it was a breath of fresh air after the live act. Absolutely. The whole self-deprecation thing was Aaron Webber's idea. That was his marketing campaign. It all started with him. Aaron Webber really did fuck the company up. He really did. It's... Ugh. I'm glad he's gone. I really, really am glad he's gone. He really fucking... he really reached into his ass and smeared on the franchise and looked towards us with a big smile and went, see, isn't it funny? It's like, no, it isn't funny. It was never funny. Yeah, tell me about the game you imported today. I've never seen anything like it. What is that? The first movie makes Sonic feel a bit more vulnerable. It's a nice way to introduce the characters to an audience who maybe has probably never played Sonic game at least once. You ended off with the freezer goring Krillin. It was awesome. So you haven't gotten to the Goku turning Super Saiyan yet? Has that not happened yet? Crow's Burning Edge. Tell us about it. The more you look into Digimon Strangers, the more... Yeah, you were telling me about... Well, you're telling me and Green, because we were both in a call together, about the new Digimon game. And I'm genuinely fascinated. Because it really does look like they are... I don't know if this is true, but it feels like it, because it's a bit too perfect. It feels like the folks at Namco are looking at the Pokemon situation and going, now, we gotta do it now. Let's make something amazing. Because holy shit, I don't know what's happening at Nintendo, but the Pokemon is at its lowest. We gotta do it now. We gotta make something amazing and release it now, quickly. Quickly, whilst the timing is right. That's what it feels like. Did that just say I have a skill issue? I guess you're right. It's a bit... What the hell? There's a cat hair in my mouth. I don't own a cat. I don't own any pets. What the f... Oh, the measuring man, yes. I was deep in thought there to how that could have made it here. Yeah, maybe he owns a cat. And he brought it in on his clothing. Bing. You don't think Digimon and Pokemon games demographic have much of a crossover? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do not think... I think my assumption on that is completely false. I do not think they are looking to conquer and divide any kind of demographic or to poach any kind of audience. It just feels that way to me. Because it just feels... It feels too perfect. It feels... I don't know. It just feels too perfect. Boo. There's some crossover given they're both creature catcher, risers, jesters, tooth extractors, Kuala Lumpur, cheese budgies or some shit. I wonder if I'll ever get a new Monster Rancher game. Because they re-released the first two a long time ago for Switch and PC. And then it just went quiet. I guess it didn't make much of an impact enough for them to decide to continue. That's a shame. I like Monster Rancher. Monster Rancher is hard to market to convince players to get, though. It's nothing like Pokemon or Digimon. It's nothing like it at all. The only aspect that's similar is that you can fight monsters, but the fights are done in a completely different way. The raising system's done in a completely different way. It's a really strange twist, but I like it. It feels like Monster Rancher feels like an extremely in-depth and detailed Tamagotchi. Which is funny because that's what Digimon were trying to do. To begin with. And then Monster Rancher comes out and has just gone, yeah, we can do that better, and they did. For that mechanic alone, I still think Digimon's monster designs are better. Monster Rancher monsters are kind of basic in comparison, but mechanically wise, the monster raising in Monster Ranchers is so incredibly in-depth. Scarily in-depth considering when it was made and who it was marketed to. It's like, we're gonna get 8-year-old kids to play this. It's like, bro, this is like running a company plus taxes the game, but with a monster. How are you gonna get kids to play this? Fucking hell. It's harder to do Monster Rancher without the whole DVD and CD in your system gimmick. You don't have to do it that way, that was just something you could do. And they could always change it. They could change it to be an in-game thing rather than you actually owning CDs, because not everyone's going to. You know, a lot of things are... A lot of people don't have discs and shit just lying around like they used to, but you can still have that idea. Just make it in-game instead. Make it like the anime, where in the anime, the characters would roam the world looking for these ancient circular tablets that look like a CD, and you take them to ruins to awaken the monster. Just do that. You don't have to make it the same, just integrate it into the game philosophy. It'd be cool. So how to do the whole DVD? It's Monster Rancher seems horrifying. There's a lot of Monster Rancher monster designs that are creepy. Oh my god, I made it. Holy shit. No, never mind. "50 minutes in. I can't even say that even the monsters that are supposed to be cute in Monster Rancher aren't really cute. They're kind of just like uncanny. The kind of thing that if you ever saw, you would stare at it and be like, what the fuck is this thing? I don't think Monster Rancher has appealing designs. There are some monsters that look cooler than others, but I cannot confidently say that any monster design in Monster Rancher is like, guys, you gotta see this, it's so cool. But none of them look bad either. None of them are like, this is stupid. It's a weird middle ground. And I think if that's what they were going for, if they were going for a weird, uncanny middle ground, they achieved it. Story games are set in a more Pokemon-ish. You obtain your creatures and fight with them. Digimon set games are more follow the Tamagotchi mechanics. Did the new one use CD database? The new one did use a CD database. I don't know how they managed it. It must have taken a very long time. But the remaster of the first two games came with an entire catalogue of CDs that were released from the year 1995 to the year 2005. Every CD. DVDs, music CDs, everything. There was something ridiculous like almost 1 million serial numbers catalogued. So all you had to do if you wanted to use a particular disc in the remaster is type the name of the the actual CD, or you could search via an artist. And that's what I did. Fucking crazy. Huge. And even crazier, there's a website, I forget what the website's called, but there's a website you can visit that has every single CD identifier, and it'll tell you what it spawns. Every single one. The page is gigantic. It's fucking nuts. And yes, I did read through all of it, because I wanted to see if I could spawn an overpowered monster. And I did. You've never seen Monster Ranch monster that you liked. You know what? Same. Same. None of them... Yeah, none of them appeal to me. I think some of them, like I said, I think some of them look cooler than others, but I don't... I don't wish to have a plushie of any of them. No thank you. It would creep me out too much. I wouldn't want it. Monster Rancher did give us yellow Mike Wazowski. You can, okay, here's something that Monster Rancher does that I really like. Monster Rancher monsters number is below 100, I think. Actually, no. The first two games, I think the number of monsters you can have is like 80-something. And I think now, up to date, the Monster Rancher monsters total to like 140-something. They have a very, very low output of monsters. But here's the thing. You can crossbreed and generate mutated monsters in Monster Rancher. So, let's take the Mike Wazowski yellow blob looking thing. You can crossbreed that with the plant monster, and you could create like a green plant looking one, and it'll follow the attributes. So it'll have the physical attributes of its parent host, but also carry over the plant attributes. It would be like if you crossbred a Pikachu with a Tangler, and then you got a grass-type Pikachu. And you could do it with every monster. Every one of them. And there was no limit to what or who you could crossbreed it with to mix and match attributes and elements. So... yeah, you can, there's only one type of Mike Wazowski, but you can technically have up to over 100 different crossbreeds of Mike Wazowskis. And that's completely allowed and encouraged. And you could do that with every monster. It was nuts. I still think it is nuts. No other monster catching game does that. I love that idea. It's like, I really like this Pokemon, but I'm not a big fan of its typing. That's fine, crossbreed it with another monster, and now you can have that monster that's now, I don't know, fucking water type. Done. It kicked ass. I did that a lot. I did that a whole lot. It's like, I really like this monster, but I don't like its typing. Crossbreed it, done. Really clever. Walk. Don't forget, you can double jump. Shut up. I hate this toucan. Can I eat it? That's interesting. I like it. I am pretty sure there's no other monster racing game that does that. I think Monster Rancher is the only one. Fuck. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure Monster Rancher games do something else too that nobody else does. That's like, holy crap, this is genius. Let me think. Okay, it's not genius, but I like it still. Your monsters in Monster Rancher will eventually die. And that's, yeah, no, it's not cool. It's like, wow, it perishes. Rock and roll. What I mean is there's like a realism. Each monster has a lifespan, and it differs. And you have to keep that in mind when you're trying to raise them. You get a calendar and everything, and you're told when it's reached like puberty, maturity, elderly. And depending on its age, its attributes change. So, the Mike Wazowski monster in Monster Rancher, the monster itself is specifically tied to, like, special attacks. It's psychic. It's not psychic type, but that's its thing. Like, it's psychic. It can use beams from its eyes and shit like that. The older it gets, the more smarter it gets because it accumulates more knowledge. And its special attacks start to increase the older it gets, but because its body is getting weaker as it gets older, it starts to turn into a glass cannon. It's fascinating. So it's one of those things you kind of have to keep on tabs with, because it's like, okay, my Mike Wazowski is now in its 80s. I could take it to battle, but as long as it gets the first hit, I'm good. And all the monsters do that. They all have a strange, like, an evolution of their stats depending on their age. They do that, they age thing, and they die. I know that. But, I think it's just they hatch from an egg, they're that blob thing. They grow into whatever it is that they're supposed to be, and it kind of just stops and then they die eventually. It's not really, the age factor isn't really incorporated into the design, or encouraged either. It's kind of just like, oh, like Tamagotchi. It's like, this thing will die if you don't feed it or raise it right, which is cool. Also, I'm actually glad that Digimon doesn't do it super complicatedly, because holy fuck. Could you imagine keeping like a health journal of an Agumon? It's like, okay, I need to feed it a round-based diet, I need to make sure it poops at this time, it needs to go to bed at this time, I need it to exercise at this time, and if I don't do it at this time, then I'll aggregate it to the next year, and blah 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 blah. Fuck that. I'm glad it's simplified. It's more fun that way. But what do you do with the monsters? You battle them, you take them to coliseums, and you have them fight in tournaments. You get money, which you can use to upgrade your ranch, to have better facilities and features. You can increase the size of your barn to house bigger monsters. You can add different types of areas to your ranch to encourage different types of monsters to come nearby. There's a really cool, it's a shitty monster, but there's a really cool thing you can do. There's a mysterious item you can collect at some point in the game during some part of the year. You have to check your calendar. And as long as you're outside during this time, a meteor shower will appear and you can collect a meteorite. If you can hold on to that meteorite for an entire year, the next year on the calendar, an UFO monster will come down and come stay with you at the ranch, and it's up to you if you want to keep it and use it to battle, but it's a very strange thing that can happen. And you can do that with a lot of things too. There's like weird circumstances that you can create in the ranch to make these things appear. some of them are really convoluted too. There's an extremely powerful monster that's essentially just a phoenix, like the classic phoenix of yore. But the way to get it is so convoluted and stupid that it's hardly worth it. But if you want it, you can get it. It'll just take a long-ass time and a lot of work. OG Digimon would already require so much effort to understand the evolution tree. I think it was mentioned before. I think GW said it to me, but I do wish that the Digimon evolutionary tree was a bit more coherent, because sometimes it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's like, sometimes they digivolve and it's like, okay, yeah, I get that. I can see how that little Beetleborg turned into bigger, monstrous Beetleborg. That's cool. And then you've got little rabbits that turns into a Gatling gun, and it's like, I wasn't expecting that. Oh, there's none of that in Monster Rancher, by the way. There's no evolutions or forms. They are what they are. They're born that way and they die that way. Newer Digimon World games fix that by having built-in guides. Oh, that's good. Good. They should have guides. Monster Rancher does not have guides. You either have to experiment or go online for help. And I did. The game sounds very interesting. Too bad the monsters are gross. I don't know if I can encourage anyone to play it. Because unless you really, really want to play the game, like genuinely want to experience the game and not just like some kind of passive fascination, I don't think anyone's going to get anything out of it, and I think that's why ultimately it failed. I think it asks way too much of an audience, because you got to really invest. And luckily when I picked up the game, I was invested to learn more because I was genuinely fascinated by the thing. But if you don't have that, I honestly don't think you'll get anything out of Monster Rancher. It's not the type of game. It's not typical. It's a really atypical type of game. Digimon often do have... They do have canonical lines. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes your cool dinosaur will turn into a big pile of shit. It's about... You wouldn't play it. No. I wouldn't recommend anyone play it, really. Interesting ideas. I was debating streaming it once upon a time. But... It would be bad. It would be a bad stream because it's not... There's nothing to look at. It's not like this, where, you can listen to me talk and you can watch the funny monkey jump around the screen, at least there's something happening. Monster Rancher, it's all screens, numbers. Sometimes there's an animation of them eating a nut. There's a bit of animation when they fight. And that's kind of it. Most of it, you're just planning the days ahead. Marketing and managing your money. Checking out the best days to train your monster using different regimes. It's more of a management game than anything else. It's not visually appealing at all. And the only reason I think I would stream it is to just be, I don't know, just to be like, hey, here, check this out. Isn't it cool? You can, you got a monster and you can get it out of this disc and, Yeah, it lives in the barn now. I called it Poinko. Okay, let's look at its gestation period. Right, so because it's still a juvenile, we can't train it fully. We'll have to train it 3 out of the 7 days a week, leaving the 4 days for rest. But we have to align those days of rest within tournament days, so that when it comes out, it has another day to rest. And then in between those days, we do some training, of course. We might need to adopt another monster, because we need a monster to grind money rather than to just grind for specific attributes. What's the market prices today? Is there a discount? Discounts happen on a Wednesday. So if I stockpile nut oil for 6 days and then wait on the Wednesday, the day after the tournament happens, assuming I win, I could then send it off for training, but then that would leave Thursday. If I train it, maybe I could use it as a rest day. Okay, so we'll keep this routine going for a few months until winter. That should be when my monster hits puberty and becomes an adult. And when it does, we can then send it off to a training regime rather than just the household stuff, and hopefully if it passes, it'll get bigger stats. Probably going to miss the next tournament. I don't fancy my chances there. But if I do that, then I'm going to be low cost on the money. Oh god, what do I do? Fuck. If I send it in, it's going to be so hurt it won't want to do the next tournament, and I've got to consider that shit. Not to mention we've got no money. Fuck. So that's what it would be like. That's... Without the visuals, that's what it would be like for 3 hours. And I don't think it would be a good stream. It's being sucked in by the Monster Rancher madness. Someday. Someday when I'm feeling... Actually, you know what? Monster Rancher would be a good game to play if I was sick. Because it requires no reflexes. I don't need to be quick on the mark. It's something I can take my time with. I'm going to consider that. If I ever get sick to the point where I'm just like, yeah, then I think that's a good idea. I'm going to keep that in mind. Hello, it's me, John Monkey. Hi, I'm John Monkey, voiced by Chris Pratt. Digimon Survive was pretty good. I own Digimon Survive and I still haven't fucking played it yet. I'm really annoyed at myself too because I was waiting for it. I was like, they need to release this game now because I want it. And now that I've got it, I haven't played it. It's been years. I'm looking at it now. It's on my shelf. For the smidge. It was pretty good. Sure, your choices affect your... I think... Actually, you know what? I think the reason why I haven't... I think the reason why I haven't gone through it is because it's more of a visual novel. I don't mind visual novels, but it sounds, from what I've heard, it sounds very much like it's a 60-40 split. 60% of it being visual novel and 40% of it being gameplay. Which sounds like a really unhealthy balance to me. But I really like the idea of the strategy. I like the visual style of it too. But I hate the idea of reading a comic for 40 minutes and then playing the next stage for 10 minutes. It doesn't appeal to me, I'm not into it. It's a real shame. If there was a hacked version that was just gameplay, I'd be down for that. Ah. Bah. 1 hour and 14 minutes. Blah. I'm interested in a new Digimon though. It looks like a new direction, but it also looks really fucking it looks really alive. They're making the world look really lived in. Instead of it just kind of like how they're trying to do with Pokemon now, how they're making all the Pokemon run around in the open world and shit like that. But with this one, they're making it look like the Digimon live, exist, and are in the digital world. And they behave uniquely like citizens in their own little pocket of the world. They're really making it look alive. And I'm fascinated by that. Digimon, you don't want him, but you don't want him with you. You like Digimon, but you never interested you for some reason. Sometimes things just don't. Sometimes things are really cool, but it's just like, yeah, not for me. It's like Dandelion Burdock. I like it, but I'm never gonna be into it. It's not gonna be my go-to. I can like things and not be obsessed with them. That's allowed. At least I think it's allowed. Ugh. Can I restart, please? I want to see what happens. Wake up! So... let me show you. So this part I didn't know the controls, so I fell, and it sent me to tutorial world. So we've got about half an hour of the stream left. Let's see if we can do something with this. Alright. Okay. So... Okay. Okay. That'd be a good place for anyone to start wanting to get into the franchise. My franchise? My franchise? What's this shelf? Is there references here? I feel like there are references on this shelf. Is that little taxi from that silly little taxi platformer I played not too long ago? And that little character at the bottom, the blue and white character, looks very familiar. And I think that's the Peglin Goblin left of the taxi. I think these are references to other indie games. Though I'm not quite sure. I think I might be reaching. Okay. Don't need to go there, just try again. Monkey brains. Bruh. Back. It's been lacking. It's a starting point. I just noticed the banana hammock. That's really fun. You've been working on the thing you did, the lettering yesterday. It's all day today. Are you any closer to getting finishing the pile? The big pile. Pep's big pile. The towering big pile of Pep work. A game you can point to and say, it's not you. That's all it does? That's all it did. It just skips through tutorial. Whoa. Whoa. Your keyboard fell down the stairs. You dropped your keyboard down the stairs. I've done that. I've dropped my keyboard down the stairs. And it exploded when it hit the wall below. I had to get a new one. It was completely broken. I could not repair it. It's like a jungle version of Clair de Lune. It is not that, I guarantee you. I think I might... Hey, that's a thought. Give me one moment. If YouTube wants to load. Well, I typed that wrong. I don't think anybody has uploaded a video of themselves playing this yet. Nope. Nope. No, they have not. That does not exist. There is gameplay of people playing the demo, but that's it. Nobody has recorded themselves finishing this game yet. So that's open for grabs if anybody wants to be the Smack Monkey champion. Not me, though. Might take all week to finish this. Hopefully not, though. Bloody hell. Right, me. You know, I've mentioned it before, but I'm kind of glad this stream started late. I can't imagine doing this for another hour and a half. I just wanted to take a look. I had no intention of beating this. That being said, though, I really enjoy the little animations that happen in the top left. It's fun. This game does have a charming presentation. It's very nice to look at. It's very nice to look at, and I do enjoy the musical ambience. I like almost everything about this game, other than the genre that it is. And that's a me issue. So I don't think I have anything to say, really. You can't knock a game down because it's not a genre you like. That is unfair. The game can't help being this. It was made that... Wait, what's that saying? I'm not bad. I'm drawn that way. Shit! I wonder how many hours it took to expertly shape the map so that any mistake you make slams you right back. Because the geometry is... it looks all over the place, but the way the map is curved and crafted and how the earth has been sliced into certain directions, it all guides you back down and over to the left. Even some bananas are placed in strategic spots where I feel like during testing, those particular spots were weird little havens of statistical outcomes to say, during the fall, your monkey's most likely to hit this spot, so to make things more interesting, we're going to put a banana right there. So if you think you're safe, the banana will take you. Very evil. Very evil! Oh, I see. Oh, fuck! Really nice sprite art. Really nice sprite art. Ugh. The toucan is taunting me. I've stopped reading what it has to say a while back. No. You know, I would, I think I would rather play Warm Monkey for a week solid than put up with a full day of this. At least Warm Monkey makes me feel cozy, in a weird way. No! You messed it up. Holy crap, I made it to a new place. There's a blue monkey up there. No. It's only for a little bit more time. I would love to see someone play this expertly. I don't know why I said it that way. Expertly. 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 I used to know somebody that would say peer pressure like peer pressure. I don't have anything wrong with like pronunciation of types of words, but it just threw me off. Peer pressure. Peer pressure. Peer pressure. What the fuck? English weird. I will expertly not succumb to the peer pressure of English. Ugh. I was reading some old English yesterday, like, we're talking the year 200 type of old English, and fucking hell. Very... I don't know how to describe it, it's just very weird. Was it incomprehensible? Some of it was. Some of it was using terms, expressions, and synonyms to describe senses that I could not relate to, which is insane to me, because if that is how they chose to describe sight, maybe it had a different meaning back then. Or maybe there was something else they were trying to describe. A lot of it I could get the gist of. There was a lot of the language that was kind of just like a really long, roundabout way of describing a sensation or something. But there's something I did notice about the difference between Old English and New English, I guess, if you want to call it new, is that we have definitely cut the crap off all the fluff. Old English really liked to over-explain almost like poetry for describing anything. I'm trying to think of a good example. So there was a passage I was reading that was trying to describe the motion of a fish through water. Nowadays I'd just say, the fish swam... the fish swam through water. Its motion was smooth as it shifted side to side to propel itself. Old English wouldn't say that. Old English would be like, beneath the breadths of the tidal circumference of the Menhir bog, beneath the beneath the superior plane into a new realm, and where which the fucking creature of realms past began to make shit like that. And it was just like, what the fuck? It was nuts. Like, I get what was happening, but if this is how people spoke back then, just casually to each other, that's wild. I'm kind of glad, though. I'm glad that English has been simplified since then. But it is almost like reading poetry. The articulation of which they're describing any kind of information is really... it is more art than factual. Like I mentioned, like, if I was to describe how a fish moves in the water, I would use the words... I would use the literal words to describe its motion. Back then, it was as if they were trying to paint a picture using words rather than give you facts. It was fascinating. I think that's just how people wrote back then. Old Finnish writing was a lot of flourishes similar to that. I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing and also a little bit sad that we've kind of lost that. Now we have to really bend over backwards if we ever want to speak like that. We put it in poetry or something. Oops. What is that, a green monkey? That green monkey? Hmm. Monkey. Shit. Oh, where's that gonna take me? I don't like that. Well, we're gonna find out. I don't get it. I really don't. Why would you do this to people? It's not fun. I remember reading an article about the language of Dark Souls, shit like that. Because everybody in Dark Souls, for the most part, has a melodic, somber way of speaking to you. Like, nobody's happy. And if you do have a happy character, even then, there's like a melotone of, just dread. And that's the point of this franchise, you know, it's not a complaint, it's just an observation. But I remember reading a thing that was just like, the way these characters speak Old English, it's really cool. It's like, that's not Old English, man, these people are just depressed. It's fucking... These people are just fucking sad, what do you mean? Young tarnished. My beard is ever so coarse. If you were to find some nourishment for thine coarse scraps of rusted veneer that I would call my beard, I would perhaps reward you for such a task, though. Finding such a thing in this desolate wasteland, who knows? But I'll be here if you find such a thing. I can give you some advice, though. Beyond this wall, there lies something truly terrible. The water may be a saving grace. That's the kind of dialogue you get in Dark Souls. It's not fucking Old English. They speak very plain modern, but they are clearly fucking depressed. People in Old English were sad. Everyone was sad everywhere. It's not a time period. Monkey fails like an avalanche. Restart again. This game is evil, but it's so cute. Oh, don't really know much Old English, but when you hear words like thine, you always think Old English. The Old English that gets used a lot is like thine, prithee, thee, that kind of shit. But the thing is, here's something that not a lot of people know about, and not a lot of British people actually talk about it either, because it's kind of just like, well, whatever. That type of talk, where you would talk to, I don't know, somebody, and you say like, prithee thee, and thine, and shit like that, that actually wasn't that long ago. And in fact, there's a lot of people who still talk like that now. Like, they will use words like thee, thine. Shit like that. But it's considered normal. It's a lot of, they don't, it's definitely dying. Like, less and less people are using that dialogue. But for the longest time, that was very normal. Very, very normal. Here's a good example. In Yorkshire, that's the whole "the" shit. Especially "the," like referring to you, the, or referring to of you. In Yorkshire, people used to use "the" instead of "you" a lot. That was very common. It actually, you can see the remnants of it in Last of the Summer Wine, a comedy British show about a bunch of old people. A couple of characters, it's something you don't really notice because the show goes on, but a couple of characters will use "thee" or "thine." But because it comes off so naturally, you don't notice. There's a... oh god, I feel bad for forgetting the character's name. The character Compo, the scruffy looking one with the beanie, he uses Old English sometimes, but that's the... It was the era, it was the time. It's like, oh yes, I like Old English. It's like, it's not that old. Again, I think it's ignorance plagued with a laziness to check the facts, which is no one's fault. But it is frustrating. Doth thy monkey thou doth expend a great deal of knowledge on azure bananas. I think you could extrapolate that a bit more. So, doth thine Simeon. Wait a minute. I think the top bit's fine. Yeah. Doth thine monkey. I think you could shorten that to doth thine monkey knowing. What's the old adjective for claiming knowledge? I forget. I think it would be thine as well. Although, I don't know. You would have to... The context between thy and thine would depend entirely on whether or not the monkey is possession. A possession of a friendship. Thine would be... my friend. But thy is... thee. Meaning not particularly... attached to anything. Doth thine. Yeah, so it would be doth thine in this context. Doth thine monkey prithee knowing. Yeah, prithee knowing. Inquiring upon knowledge. On azure. Yeah, that would be it. Doth thine monkey prithee knowing on azure bananas. That would be Old English for... Do you know much about blue bananas? Translated. You think some people, like you, just feel like things that happened, say, 50 years ago are already old. I think that's easy to think about, because our lifespan, and because of our lifespan, we have to think in terms of our influence within our world that we have current control over. So 50 years is a long-ass time, considering if you're a human. That's over half of your lifespan, so I think it's a fair point to make that it's like 50 years, that's a long time for a human. But in terms of changes lifespan, changes perception of time is really long. 50 years is nothing. Very short amount of time. But that's if you want to think that way. And who's counting? There's not some giant all-knowing timekeeper that's just like, yeah. You're either my the dear Claggy. Coco, the most likely one of the... I love Compo. I want to be like Compo when I'm older. But also, you barely speak English, so my thoughts on this are woefully uninformed and pointless. No, not pointless. But maybe uninformed. I knew you'd get it if you put down the groundwork. You want to buy and read old Finnish Dragon Ball manga translations so bad. Are they easy to get a hold of? Come hither, stoked Simeon. Hither is one, yeah. Hither. It's like it's an adjective for beckon or for encourage. Some people are still selling the old ones set online, but they cost a lot. I can imagine so. No, they're not exactly printing them again, so they're limited stock. You know what? Done with this game. But before I bounce, I'm going to read some Old English because I'm in the mood for it. Old English, year 200. There we go, yeah. Yes, this one. Fuck. This is going to be hard to do. Okay, right. Okay. So, example. Can you guess what the following Old English words meant in modern English? So we got a sentence here. Ban bron quen frostlöfen sunne swaster frauen hiver. Dein bran torfjeffen minsel lufen de fallen brun. Sounds almost Welsh. Translation. Your body is the color of midnight. Little, says the leaves, fallen ground beneath you, swollen by your naughty attitude. Come close for retribution. That's a literal translation. Modern translation: you naughty child, come here. So the so it's a reprimand. The there's a child misbehaving. That's what you would have said. Fucking that went on forever. This is what I mean. I'm a fan of modern English being really simplified. Really simplified. You love vivid language and dialogue in fiction. It's crazy how colourful we spoke back then. You naughty child, come here. Oh well. That's a nice little thing.